Hello, comrades. It's Premier Rever, looking down on what will be my wonderful city of Revergrad. I'm excited to get started on it. Hopefully tomorrow's episode will start really laying some things out. On Saturday, we have planned some of this stuff, so we'll get the results of that started. In any event, it's really Saturday when I'm recording this video before the live stream, but I wanted to get a few things done, like this construction office. So let's see. In any event, if you didn't watch the live stream, I'm sure by now it is up. And I wanted to do a few things. These guys are making some great progress on the rails. And I think I'd like to, well, no, I don't need to pause it because they're not across. Well, yeah, you know what? I need to pause it because I'll try to remember to unpause it. So what I want to do is make it so that these tracks can go this way. They're not going to be able to finish this bit here because they won't be able to turn that way, but they'll be able to get some of this track worked on down towards the tunnel. So let's start right here. And we'll get our rail. We might as well get our wire frame going, right? Just to make sure we don't have any. Yeah, can I come like straight off of here? Crossing not allowed. Here. There you go. Not necessarily in love with that, but I think it'll work. We'll make this kind of nice and long, and yeah, that looks nice. Come on, you had it. Yeah, I saw you liked it. There we go. So now when those guys get around this corner, they'll be able to kind of work on either direction. So let me just commit to that real quick, and we'll put in a couple signals because right now they're. Ooh, you know what? You know what? I can put a signal in here. Can I get? Yep. Okay, good. So that way they can keep working on their bridges without interfering with each other. And then I'll put a couple more here just so they can, get past it. I tend to get them to work on this first, but it doesn't really matter. The trains. I need to get this done too. So, I mean, it matters, but. Yeah, we're just going to signal the heck out of it so that they don't get messed up. Again, this is more for construction than anything else. It signaled nicely there. And I'm not sure. I guess we'll just have to. Yeah, I think we'll just live with that delay that's going to be caused when we get into here. But once we get past that point, which doesn't usually take too long, we'll go there. Now, the other thing I want to do is I left this way in the other episode, and I got to thinking and looking at it. It's entirely possible that we'll have other trains coming up this way, but at this point, I only see us coming from the steel area and coming around. So we put this far enough off to this direction, but what I would like to do is just bring this track straight, right? So we can delete that. Yeah, delete that. I imagine it might have annoyed some of you guys that I had done it this way, but I came down and just leveled a little tiny bit here just to get that out of the way. Now we have the railroad track or the power lines, but I think they're going to be completely out of our way. So one thing I would like to do is let's just give it a little bit of a smooth. Causing any problems. Just get rid of a little bit of the yellow. It doesn't really cause a problem. I think it just looks better. Yeah, see, let's see what happens. All right, so now we'll delete the rest of that track in a minute, but I'll wait till let's come out so we can make it nice and straight. I think that's kind of nice and straight. After such a distance, you start losing the grid a little bit. It goes funny. Can we come up a little bit more? No, right there. That's good enough. Little tiny curve isn't going to hurt us. And then what I'll do is, let's see, delete this. Delete that. How's that look? we zoom it. Whoa, good lord. Yeah, that looks good, I think. All right, so let's commit to that. And then we can come in here. Try to delete all of this track. Nice. I guess it's faster to do it this way. I don't know. Probably doesn't make too much difference. There we go. So that's much better in my opinion. Is that attached? No. Of course not. Will you attach? Of course not. Too short. There we go. It's a little goofy, but... And then, in order to get them to work... Yeah, we should probably come down here and put in a couple signals. We should have signals at the other end. These guys are only 75% done this tunnel when I last looked. Oh, you know what? We can play time again, even if we get inefficient. And another thing I'd like to do is, let's stretch out this loop. I think it's long enough for a train, but I don't think it's going to hurt to spread this out, right? Before we go too far with everything. If I spread it out, I'll show you what I mean. Like, just make sure that there's enough distance between this track, and this track. And we can bring this one around a little bit more of a gentle turn. Like, get them off the line a little bit. No, pay with dollars. There we go. All right, so let's take this since it's going to be the... Oops. Look at that. You know, let's get rid of these signals, and since we don't really know where they're going to go, and then we'll demolish that and that. There we go. All right, so now, so what I want to do, yeah, let's get rid of some more signals here. Crash. Okay, crash and burn. I'm not sure exactly how I'll have edited this out, but let's try this again. So I'm going to come back over to the rail. I just reloaded the game and then kind of caught us up back to where we were. Not 100%, but I just want to see. All right, so we're going to delete this one first. Yep. Yeah, so something happened. I don't know. Now we have an awful lot of little track sections here, and I want to get rid of... Let's get rid of those. And as a matter of fact, you know what? Do we really even want to make this an intersection? Let's get to the track. Ooh, can't talk. Track removal tool. Oops. Yeah, you know what? I'm tempted to just not make this even a thing, you know? Why don't we just make it a 90-degree turn for now? We can always add this later if we're ever going to use it. Like, why build... come on. That's what happens when you're trying to talk. Yeah, you know what? We'll make this a little bit smoother. Let's just delete back, you know, what I'll call some sections. All right, so that'll be a little bit further away if we want to bring one down and do that, but in light of my statement where I would like to try to make these tracks specialized, let's see, can we just, you know, I'm kind of fine with that, even though it's, yeah, I'm pretty much fine with that. What does our wireframe look like? I'm not really fine with that. All right, so let's cancel that because it's kind of steep right there. So let's go. Yeah, that turned it orange anyhow. Might as well get rid of that while we're standing here. Okay, now let's try it. No, let's not attach a road to it. How's that sound? Okay, is that attached? Let's commit to that. Good. So now, I think I just like to, what is going on here? Just, there's like a really, really short segment in between, but hopefully that doesn't cause a problem. Maybe that's where a signal was. Now, someone had mentioned, might have been, yeah, like if we put a semaphore and put a semaphore and then cancel it, it reconnects the track. No. Not sure I understood the comment at the time, and I definitely didn't. Yeah, so I don't know that we need another signal, but let's just put one in. Probably need some more signals anyway, so just to make sure that they're not going to mess each other up. Good, so there we go. So I think that looks a lot better, doesn't it? You know, it's not perfect. Kind of getting a little close to the mountains if we're going to have more tracks coming in, but again, what we would probably end up doing is building another, if depends on where things were coming from and going to, but we could always move this around. You know, we can, if we build another track this way, then we could always just turn this guy into it and put the other track, you know. All right, good. So the other things that I wanted to do, oh, we can unpause. Probably could have unpaused. And the things I have been doing is just basically working on our roads mostly. I did get a bus stop done over here, and I did get another one of these started before I decided, well, I really want to focus on getting power over to here. So we have been working on this construction, but I kind of diverted some of his attention to working on this power line, and then I diverted our main construction over here to start working on some of these switches and power lines here. And in addition, the Przink North guys, I've also diverted them. Yeah, see, look, they're working on this, so I put this road in, so they should be, should they have power? Well, we need to get this one worked on. No construction office. Why don't we assign that? Oh, you know why? Because I think because this wasn't attached at one point. Let's see if reattaching that does the trick. If not, I may just have to pay for that one. All right, because we canceled it in the middle, so I don't know. Yeah, see, it doesn't connect, and it's connected on both ends. It doesn't connect. It's partially constructed, so we're just going to go ahead and click on it and say, well, we'll pay with rubles. There we go. My life's too short to fight with funny little game things, and I didn't feel like destroying it since it was partially built. Good, so once they get this line and this substation done, we'll have power here, which will be a good thing. Now, the other thing I think I'd like to do before we get too far is think about, you know, this is going to be kind of a long train run, and there'll be trains coming from here to here, so I'm thinking in about the middle here we should put, whoa. Save is wonderful when you crash like that, but at the same time it can be annoying when you're playing. Okay, so what I want to do is come in here and let's, yeah, that's not a steep cliff, is it? No, that's just where I deleted that track not too long ago. So what I want to do is come in here and jackhammer up this. We need about 6 from past experience. Just to be able to fit this in without, go on, without too many squeezing issues. So until we get electrical track actually really going, and let's do it this way so we can see if we're really nicely lined up. No, we just didn't do quite enough, did we? We don't have to be this exact, or else guess what? It's not going to attach anyway. So we probably should do about 7 in the future. So if you make these connections too short, yeah, that lines up nice. They won't let you reconnect them anyway, so. There, so we'll commit to that. And then, again, even though it's a little bit awkward, we'll put a road in from here. There, looks good enough. Good, so we'll have diesel fuel along that track, though hopefully in the not too distant future we won't need it, because we'll have electrical components coming out the wazoo, which is another thing that we can work on. So let's turn off the wireframe for a minute. Now these guys are sitting here. Oh, let's see. I want to check. Uh-oh. Now why are you red? I don't understand this. It does this once in a while. Is it because like there's another train that wants to come out here? If I were to, yeah, see, it's like I bet you there's like another train wants to come out this way or something. There's no other train anywhere near it. And the problem with this one is that they can get head to head, right? Like in other words, if a train's right here, when this guy starts coming out, like they can, like they jam each other up for that reason. So, yeah. Fortunately, it's only a construction site. I'm willing to put up with an inefficiency with the construction site just to have it close and convenient. But it is, and also the construction site just doesn't. It's not permanent. We won't always be using it. One idea that I think I'm going to do to improve this is down the road. I was looking, at some point after here, this sort of widens out again. And I think I'm going to put another set of tracks in here and bring this over onto the other side of the road even. And come in here, maybe bring it in like down here, and then have the in coming here. And instead of these guys going this way, they're going to loop back out one way or the other. It might be a little goofy up in this area, but we'll put another outgoing track this way, right? Even though it's going to be kind of on the wrong side of the road for a minute, and then we'll have it match back up here somehow. Does that make sense? So instead of looping down here, which is wonderful, we're going to have it loop around and go back out, because these guys are always just going to be going over this way to get stuff, I think. But we'll see. Maybe we'll even do it the opposite if we think it's better, or might even divide these up in a different way, like the lumber and bricks might go that way, but then, and the steel panels, or the steel though, might go this way to go get steel, right? But I think I'm going to try to take some of this stuff off of these tracks here, just so that we don't have what wants to be like this mega, it's just like too big of a, what do you call it? It's too big of a block, it is causing problems. So if we get many trains at all on here, too many intersections. Not that we have too much traffic, it's just I can't break it up with signals properly. So anyway, speaking of which, there's no reason that we couldn't, let's see, can we purchase one of these? No, not auto purchase. No. Right, so let's come here. Yeah, this guy, I've bought him before, but he's like slower than molasses. Even though I think he might be bigger, he's just so much slower. Like this guy goes 50, this guy goes 20. So I'm not sure why I wouldn't buy 2 more of these and get them working on this bridge, right? I think they're not going to interfere with anybody else, even though they might interfere with each other. We'll see what happens. But then also, once we get around this turn, I was thinking about it, we can use the 2 more. There's no reason for me to want to take these guys off of this, even though they're getting kind of far away from all the way down here. Oh, look, something's going on there. Let's, oh, that's right. Oh, geez, that's been a while. We finished our loop. Not that long, but I forgot to reassign this guy to another section of track. Good, so this guy's made it all the way around to here. We'll get his buddy going again. And then we've got this road worked on. And let's see, we got our power over here being worked on. If it's not almost done, they're still working. It takes a while because they're far away. Now, good. So now another thing that I was thinking of is to get the train. There's no reason I don't think we can't get, even though it might be a little bit awkward, get a train up to here to drop off some chemicals. So let's take a look at how many chemicals this warehouse would hold. So this warehouse is dedicating some of its existence to electrical and mechanical components, and I don't think I want to change that. So we got 109 tons of chemicals, and I don't necessarily want the guy stealing every single chemical out of here each time he comes by. But let's see what we can't do for a train to get maybe like... Alright, so let's see if we can. I noticed our... Oh, yeah, we don't want a cement wagon. So let's get an electric... Or no, well, that would be nice, but let's get a diesel locomotive. And they're all... This one's a little bit faster. Yeah, let's get the fastest one. And then we want cargo wagon and boxcar. Do we have any other options? Boxcar for livestock. We'd usually call that like a cattle car here. And, you know, even if it's, or a livestock car. But anyway. Yeah, so that's the only, it's this or nothing. So we can get, let's see, how many chemicals? 20. Yeah, so if we had 5 cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I didn't have to count that for you guys, did I? There you go. And I want you to come over to here and wait to be loaded, but I just want you to get as many chemicals as you can. Right? Yep. Where are we going? Now I want you to come here and drop off said chemicals. And wait to be unloaded. So that should get our chemical thing going, right? No. Start. Cool. Make sure he gets off to at least a semi-good start. Now, the length of this train may test our system, and I realize that, at least in the beginning, he's probably going to rob everybody of every chemical. But it's not like we're using that many chemicals in other places. And then what we can do, yeah, so at least he got off and headed in the right direction. That's what I want to make sure. What we can do is come up to this guy and okay, that's the train, and I want to send this guy before he gets too far to that depot. Where is he? Yeah, good. Make sure he's not just about to pick up chemicals. So this guy has chemicals in him. Let's go see about where he's at. Okay, so he's just at Riverbend. Hopefully, not Riverbend, Riverbend. See, there you go. That's, you know what? Inspiration. You just never know when the Lord of Inspiration will touch you on the forehead and say, boy, that's a much better name, Riverbend, instead of Riverbend. Wonderful. I'm such a genius. Just kidding. All right. Anyway, there we go. Riverbend. Now I'm all hung up on that. What was I doing? All right. So we have a chemical train. How's he doing? Is he able to make it in there? Yep. Look at that. And then he should just about steal every chemical we have, though we'll sit there and wait. So the only... Only problem with that is that he's going to steal every chemical that we have, which is sort of saying, well, do we want to ramp up our chemical production? You know, I didn't do that because there's really no need, but we're going to need chemicals for... Now, the only other thing is, you know... Yeah, well, here, you know what we're going to do, too? Let's take this guy and say, for a second, stop waiting. Just so he takes that load up there, and then once he's... There you go. So he'll go through a loop and take those chemicals up here, so we'll have them up here. And hopefully he'll beat this, or he'll not beat the truck up here. How many do we have? Okay, he won't fill this up anyway, so that's fine. So I don't want him to block that truck from being able to unload everything. I think this is the truck, right? Yeah, good. So we don't have to wait too much longer. Wonderful. So we are getting some things done. Do we have our electricity worked on? Boy, it's taking you guys a while to build those. Or is it just my perception of time being slow? Oh, good. Look, we got that done. We need to get this guy more construction work. And he's our bridge builder. And usually he's doing a pretty good job of building 2 bridges at a time. That's a little section, so let's give him that. And then you should be working on, yeah, you're working on more components and electrical. And how about you guys? You were paving stuff. Ah, so we can come back up here real quick and build some roads so that we can get this construction, because this is key. Again, this for me is Saturday. Key to getting the designing symposium of Saturday done. Alright, so now, not you. You are going to be assigned 2 more little paving jobs. And this road vehicle should be getting awful close. Yes, he is. You know what? Did we? Oh no, yeah. We'll just send them down to that plastics, and then we'll grab a plastics truck. So we'll get 4 trucks driving the plastics up here is the plan. I don't know if I actually said the plan. There we go. So now that he's unloading, we'll wait till he gets done, and then we'll send him over to here. Good. Now what are you doing? You're just do you have mechanical components? Yeah, you do. Well, you know what? Rather than you sitting there, why don't you... Yeah, let's just... Yeah, you know, it's going to be hard to find. We got a bunch of vehicles in and out of here, right? Yeah. So let's just delete all this guy's stuff. Even though I probably didn't need to delete them all. And why don't you just bring mechanical components over here for a while? Yeah, the roads are attached, even though they're not super efficient at this point. And then we'll have them up here, right? Rather than him just sitting there. I don't think fuel's an issue at this moment. Don't wait. Wait to unload them, just in case. And again, we'll get the other stuff going, but the train's going. But for now, at least he'll have something to do. Alright, so if we click on this guy, we should be able to find a related vehicle or two. And we really only need 1. Yep, wait. Yeah, I don't know if I really want all you guys waiting at the other end, do I? Not really, but... Alright, so let's go... No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, they don't show you the vehicles headed to this depot, do they? Well, they're probably... Are they... Well, I don't know which way they're coming from. Now I've got lost. Well, that is a long drive, isn't it? I would think he would have gone this way. Yeah? Yes. Yeah, you were doing chemicals. Now I want you to do... Whoa. What happened there? Yeah, you don't want to do it the way I said, so let's just do you manually then. So plastics need to come to here, right? Yeah. Good. So I can't start him until he gets over there, but at least he has... Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I might be causing a traffic jam, potentially, but that'll get us plastics brought up here. Then the only other issue will be steel. Now, why are you... Oh, because you're probably still filling this guy up with steel, right? But you're done now, so we should start seeing a pile up of steel in this area. And then this guy could be doing a loop, but we'll hold off on that until things settle down. How's that sound? All right, so where are we at? Okay, is this the one? Yeah, so I think I can copy this. Yeah, this guy liked it. The other guy didn't. So you might as well start. Alright, and then we just have to wait for that guy to get parked, but so we should be, you know, actually using, hey, look, our plant's fired up. So again, we're getting closer to making some actual electronic components, even without the railroad, which is kind of good, because then we can start, as soon as I feel like we have at least a little bit of enough, I think we can... Sorry, I interrupted myself. As soon as I think we have a little bit of enough, we can start making a bunch of electronic components. All right, so I'm going to have this steel guy, if you didn't notice what I was doing there. Let's have him... Yeah, don't wait there. Wait here. Go ahead and... you know, start driving some more of that steel back around, and then, well, let's let this get kind of filled up like we said we would in the last episode. Good. Okay, were there any other things? I think that was everything that was on my list that I thought of in the relatively short time between the start and the end of the episode. So no traffic jams. You guys are all working, so let's just take a real quick look at you. Definitely, I can tell, are working on stuff. A lot of times you can just look at the yard and see whether it's full or not, and you know they've still got a job. So one last quick look. How are we doing down here? Which is actually here. Looks like you don't have enough to do. So let's give them another thing to do. You know, another 2 things to do. And then what I want to do is, after I set this up, I want to take a quick pause and come back and talk about planning the food factories. And I don't know if I'm going to actually... Well, we're not going to get to building much of it anyhow, but... Good, so that guy's just doing that. Here, hold on. Let me finish one thought before I start another, right? So you can work on that one too. So in a few minutes, like I said, let me just put a pause in the video, and then, you know, we could talk about bringing in, before this road gets done, I thought about it. I mean, it's done up to here. I don't see that changing, but just in case, like, this road is in the way, I don't see the tracks at all being in the way, but before I actually build this road, you know, because I could see us bringing in things, and I also want to do a little leveling. Like, Like, let me think it through enough to, do some leveling so we don't have to do all of that on camera. But now that we have power and we'll almost have a construction thing, I think that's a good thing to do. So I will be back in a second or two. All right, I just did a little bit of leveling, and I kind of have a picture of what I would like to see if it would lay out pretty well. Again, this is not all thought through, just got enough leveling that maybe we could put a few things down. So what I'm picturing over here, and I don't actually want to attach the track because it kind of creates nodes and whatnot, but let's just say, after this intersection, we would just pull the track off, right, and then bring him up and around. So I leveled out some of this to the point he could maybe come up across here. And then once he was up here, so I just wanted to make sure where this would actually start. I could try to jam it in a little closer to this stuff, but I don't see a real big particular reason. Now, yeah, see, this is, I probably could have leveled that a little bit. Lower this a bit. Now these tools, in some ways, I almost wish we had a setting. I know I've complained about the difficulty level, but I'm kind of wishing we just had a setting to slow them down once in a while when you're trying to do some fine tuning, All right, let's see, can we give it a little rub with Levely? There you go. So my picture is that this guy would come up this way. I don't want to go any further than that right now. And he'll come in and drop off corn in the middle of plants. So we put more plants up here, like maybe on another tier. But what I was also eyeing up is if we look down this way, how many could we get in here of the warehouses, right? So like if we put a warehouse here, I could have a train track coming into it and then attach, well, let's see, do it the other way. I don't want to be too close where I can't get a road in there, but like if we did this, we could have that train come in and the trains with the food would head out this way, right? Now they could go either direction once they got down here, but we might as well come kind of as close as we can because there's nothing right behind us actually, so. Yeah, you know what? We could actually, I could come a bunch closer, but I'm not going to sit here and level all this stuff out while you guys are watching. Let's just see if it makes sense, what I'm saying. Now, this isn't going to get built for quite a while, so I imagine I'll get your feedback on this. Let's just get rid of some of those. Let's get rid of all these trees because they're blocking the view. All right, so in other words, this one could be a little closer this way, and we can work that out in a minute. But the idea would be that we would come in here and put this guy like, I was really hoping it would, yeah, I would like another layout of this, because if this one's, like I'd like the track on this side, but that road is kind of like on the other side from where I would want it. Like I would want the road coming out this way. All right, but let's just plop this down. And the reason for that would be this, right? We'll level out a little more. Like I would do something like that. And each one of these would do its own food factory. So if we came back over to here, well, you know what? I don't think the road matters. Like say the food factory, it's not really, well, I'm not going to get too meticulous until we actually go to do it. Yeah, you know what? We're just going to plop that in. Right? And then each one of these would get a grain silo. Now I could push that closer. I guess this grain silo would go like this. Now, you know what? We can't. Why can't we get a train in and out of grain silo? guess that means we would have to have train cargo station, which is not available here. Can I get it here? Train platform, train depot. Train depot doesn't have any factory connections. This doesn't have any factory connections, but I think that's just for people. Oh, wait, I know what I want. Train cargo station. There we go. And see, and then I would picture, could we put this like here, right? And I think what I want to do, and this is why I was asking the question about this road, right? Like, because I think I want to get rid of this road the way it is and actually maybe take it back to these power lines even, and then bring it up, right? So that I can move this stuff over as tight as I can. Like all of this stuff would get bunched. Let's see, can we, yeah, I can level enough to just show you guys what I'm. Now the problem we're gonna have is, well, we're not gonna, for construction purposes, I could build this. So this guy would be, oops, go on, a little further, slightly further up this way. Go on, get her done. Right, and I can bunch all this stuff up more. So I could get it where one train would do another, like there would be 4 silos. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this one might be up, right? Like we'd have to, maybe we would tier the silo just so I could still attach that factory road to it. Like the ones over here, but then I would level off like this mountain because we're allowed to nowadays. And we would have this sort of like 4 food factories, each with its own silo, each with its own train loading. Now the train loading, now you know it'd be better if we shared a train loading on each side, wouldn't it? Like get rid of this one. Yeah, so let's see if, yeah, let me play pause. Like in other words, this one train thing would do 2. And it would also be good if we could get the trains, I don't know, would we have 2 separate food trains? That might make sense, you know, because food needs to kind of go everywhere. So we would end up with at least 2 different places. Like if we're making all our food up here, maybe we would have another food distribution in this area. Like we would still, let's say our food comes, where the heck does our food come to? Like right now our food comes into here by train, right? So what we would do is, you know, send a train down to here with food, and at the same time, you know, we could send another train from the other side over to here, or this is pretty central, but, and actually maybe we just send it to here, we distribute all our food from here by truck, and then we could, you know, distribute food to Revergrad with the other train. Does that make sense? All right, well, let me level out and like fine tune this a little bit. Again, we're not going to build too much, but let's see if I can't make it a little bit better, which again, just because it involves so much leveling, it doesn't take that long, but for even just to sit there for 10 minutes leveling, I kind of run out of stuff to say. So, all right, I'll be back in, well, for you, a couple seconds. For me, probably a half hour. All right, see you guys in a minute. This might be a bit of a choppy episode here, huh? But anyway, I did some more leveling, and I plan on cutting back out, but I did it with the building. You know, it's technical university, and I got a nice big square. I think enough to at least get one of the 4 or a couple of the 4 in there. Let's see what happens. So I changed this up, so I still want to be able to get our railroad tracks in. So let's switch over to that. And you know, I think we'll come, you know, it's kind of close to this road. This road probably is screaming to be an overpass, other than right now. it's not that busy a road. So we'll see. We may not ever have that much traffic on it. So what I would do is probably, bring this in as the in from over here, and then when the corn train comes out, I'm picturing it comes out somehow down this end, right? And the good thing is if you look, like our slope is catching up with it at some point. Like, in other words, where this level it's going uphill this way, so shouldn't be too hard to make a train line come and turn around there. All right, so anyway, let's see if we can't get this guy up here in such a way that he crosses this road at a good angle. So we'll take him like that, and that'll be just about across the road, yep. And then we can turn him like this. And I didn't actually lay this out, I just sort of guessed, and that's not too bad. So this road, my thought with this road is that it would be almost in the same spot that it was before, which is actually, if you look one over, but, so it might just swing out this way a little bit before it gets to the first, and then we'll follow this along here. So that'll give us, if we just put this like that. Does that make sense? So let's just commit to those things, just so that they're not deleted if we... Good. So I think that, gets us our corn train in, and then it's going to be a little bit tricky. Let's go back to... So what, again, just to recap, not that it hasn't been just a couple seconds for you guys, but let's come here. So what I want to do is try to get, I definitely want the road over this way now, even if that messes up the tracks. And we would put this guy as close to this road as we can get him, like that. So that means that we would want 2 food factories on either side of this, which means, I'm just trying to eye it up, like right over in this area is where we would want the food factory. Now, the tricky thing is now what I want to try to do is how far off of this way should I be, right? So if we had 2 food factories, like one would go this way in about this area, right? So we could probably come all the way back to about here, which means, like, let's see. You know what? I probably need to plop this guy down. Let's assume that we're going to be able to get that railroad track in, no problem. And then let's just go back. There, we can get a warehouse from here. Wonderful. I can't really see. So if we, if we were to have that guy lined up like that, then we could have another food factory. Yeah, the road for this one could come out this way. Is that in line with the other one? Sometimes it's hard to tell because they don't, that would be in line with that. I think that's pretty close. Close enough. And then what I would want is a grain silo for each of these. So I'm thinking we might, the grain silo would go there, and I put it on a little bit of an angle deliberately because I think I need it. I'm going to turn this around so that the road, just not that we're going to ever use that road, but I think it sort of makes more sense. Let's turn it a little bit more. And I'm just sort of guessing there. We can't get to the rail cargo station, so let's... Yeah, now the problem is, see what I mean? See why I turn those in a little bit? Let's spin that guy around the other way. This guy's symmetrical, so I don't think it matters. But there you go. Now he's got... Now is that going to be... There. See that? So like I don't think we can get them too much closer. I don't think we need to. Heck, even if we just had this, that's pretty good food capacity, because consider, the question is, do we get into the mountain even though we could, or we could just duplicate this same thing? I mean, I think the trains could go right through here, or if we didn't, we could also put a train up this way, right? Where it would, like, one train could come in here and go here, the other one could go into here, right? I hope that made some sense what I just said, but in other words, I'm picturing a whole nother setup just like this one, maybe up here, right? Not that we would build it right away, but it would just make me want to make this road straighter as far as we could to not really interfere with our track thing, We could always push it in a little further that way. But we could definitely get another one. Yeah, maybe even two if we really made that a sharper turn on the road and then went up. I bet you we could get like 3 of these in here down the road if we ever needed them. All right, so let's make sure all of this will connect. Yes. Must go directly. Oh, look, okay. You want to go that way, but you don't want to go that way. Or maybe I just was holding it. There, right? So that would get corn. We would have, corn in here. We could have really even 2 corn trains feeding this one guy, potentially. We could have another, 2 factories. Now, I wouldn't want them necessarily going through here. So, like, here's what I'm talking about. Now that we have these, this would all work. 100%. This would be a good food factory thing, other than we don't have power. So let's, I'm going to commit to this. I like it. Let's come back over to railroad tracks. Now, if we're going to have this and it's going to be pretty busy, this would all be one way in, which is okay, because we could, I don't plan a lot of trucks and cars up here, well, especially on this stretch. We will have to get people into here, so let's not forget bus stops and such. But, I think if we, I think I'd like to really, let me do something else here. Let me level. I'm going to turn this railroad track a little bit closer to 90 degrees. So that as they come in, we can have as long a stretch in front of that. Like, we could have a train that could sit there and we have enough room for all of our, what do you call it? The signaling and whatnot. And then we could have another train that bypasses it here. I'll show you what I mean. So let's cancel a little bit of that there. And then, they come up to like this way. And you know what I'm going to do? Let's make it not too sharp a turn. All right, so this train track could go past there, and then when we have another one, we could have like a nice long run up into it, like starting here. Like, so an example, wherever we wouldn't be hitting the building, but like, in other words, that could kind of like join back up and feed into there. Now, the other problem would be, well, these guys could just turn around in this thing, can't they? So the question would be, if we came to like here, could this... Now keep in mind, this is all going to be one way. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, go to there. Right, this is all going to be like one way in. So we don't have to worry about like in and out, in and out. So this becomes like 2 things where we're going to have 2 separate trains. And then what would we do to get them back out? This is where we would want, now the out would be this way. So in other words, this train needs to come out here, right? And this train would need to come out here. Now they can join. What is in the way? Oh, never mind. I don't know what I did. Yeah, I guess what it's screaming out that we would do. It's a shame there would be such a crisscross here, right? But then actually, yeah, I mean this. Let's just see. I'm picturing that like just ahead of this track is another one of these depots, right? So maybe even right here. But I want to leave enough that we could signal. No, that wouldn't work. So would it? Well, yeah, we wouldn't. Let's not jam it up too much, right? And I don't know that this is a good thing to do, but so this guy could come out here and get into here. This guy could come in here. No. All right, let's go a little bit further. Oops, stop it. So you don't want to cross. Yes, yeah, you're not going to want to cross from this. So let's see. Let's see if I can. What I want to do is actually see if I can come from like here and cross. And you should let me, yeah, exactly. So in other words, in their ways, in and out, this guy could come into either one of these two, right? And then this guy could, like, we would have to have another one, but I'll have to do some more leveling. This guy would be able to come off of here, say, and go like this way, right? And then join back up with this track here. So let me do some more leveling and like just sort of plan out a second one of these. Now the problem is that's getting kind of long, isn't it? All right, well, let me think about it. Obviously, I don't want to just sit here babbling on camera. And maybe there's a way I could do it slightly better, but I think you guys are getting the idea, right? So that we could have two trains waiting here, and then we could have like another two trains waiting up here. I think there's enough room in between here and here that we could even put, you know, a fairly small size train. So we could even have 4 trains if we really wanted to. But let's see what happens. All right, I'll be right back in a second. All right, as per my normal, I got a little bit carried away. But I leveled out and or flattened a bunch of stuff and ended up putting in a second one. And I really would like to make it so we could have 6 of these. Why? Because 6 is overkill. And I know I don't see us ever needing more than 4, but, you know, we always have the possibility in case we make a mistake. So what I would like to do is just show you what I did. That bridge is not very straight, is it? But it works, so I'm not going to mess with it. And this could have been a little more level right here. But here is an outgoing train track. So I figure we could bring the outgoing food train over to here, just because there's not really enough room in between this factory and this road to do that. Now, I could have probably made it a whole lot simpler if we had put the train on the inside and then the road on the outside. But what would be the fun in that, right? And then I'm not sure, like, the roads don't like to connect too close to railroad tracks. And then this way, if we do get busy on this road, because I was thinking, you know, this road is a potentially fairly big. That rail bridge really does look like sin, doesn't it? I might correct that in between the episodes. But in any event, you know, that way we're just not interfering. You know, this gives us the ability to have an overpass. I was even able to sneak this in here, which was nice, because now we can get to these things. Now, we're not going to be able to build this factory connection until we get these railroad stations actually built, because then there would be, well, we could bring a road in the back maybe, but I thought, well, this just as well. Now, you know what? We should be able to get to this in case there's ever a fire, huh? Well, maybe we will bring a road in along the back, even if it's just a dirt road to be able to get there. All right, so anyway, so let's just see. Oops, that one's kind of out of place, isn't it? Let me just build another one of these. Now, I don't necessarily even want to build the whole thing, but it'll kind of show you what I did. So I just duplicated exactly what we had here. So spin this guy around. Yep, he's still straight. And then I left about 4 in between just so that we could get a thing. So it's hard to sometimes line up. You know, well, let's keep it back in line with the other ones. There we go. And then what I did next was plop down one of these, and this guy needs to be turned this way. And then line this up with that, these 2 arrows here, and that gave us a pretty good space. Now we didn't put in any bus stops, and I'm kind of running out of time on the episode, so let me keep this guy up this way as much as possible. And then another food factory, and this one needs to go this way. And line those arrows up and try to get it pretty in line with the other one. There, definitely did a better job on that one. That's all right. We'll just, we're not in for perfection, are we? And then the next thing would be these grain silos, and they just sort of guesstimate in the angle we want. There we go. And then this one would go like this. Good. And then need to come back over here for a railway cargo station. It doesn't matter which way this guy goes, other than we need to kind of put them. Let's spin it around. Yeah, that way's in line. So we're going to try to put them right in line with the other one. We might have to move those corn silos a little bit if they won't attach. Oops, wrong button. Let's see. Yeah. So let's destroy this and this. Let me pause. Now that we have these up and the spacing pretty well, we can. No, this guy has to go this way, right? And then this guy goes this way. Can't really see because of that helper. All right, let's see if that works. It's a little questionable. I didn't have any problems before, but that's because I'm now on camera, right? Yeah, see, of course, oh no. Okay, sometimes you can't go one way, but you can go the other. And then these guys need to get attached. Now, the other thing to say is, you know, we can't attach both of these. On this side, yeah, I think I'm better off not doing this one, right? So can we get a road? Let's make sure we can do that. We'll get our little dirt road out. I did this wrong. This guy needs to be spun around because his road is on the wrong side. Oops, what did I do? Play pause. Okay. Let's see if we can get away with just plopping that food factory back in there. That's not at all what I want. There we go. Yeah, see, this road needs to come out like, you know, of course, it's not lining up as nicely. It's so easy to, there we go. All right, so you're going to line up. Oh, no, we want you to line up like this. Oh, I see. I see why that didn't match up too well. Yeah, I see what I did wrong. I'll explain it in a second. Let's come out this way a little bit. There we go. I put on these, I'm connecting, it's kind of hard to see. See, I'm connecting on the inside one. Here I want to connect to the outside one. So this is too far this way. Let's get rid of this. So just get rid of it all. I'm gonna get rid of this. Play pause. Now this corn silo should go like here, and then this one should go like here. That will make it. That'll make all the difference in the world. See, usually if you have something that's not lining up, there's kind of a reason for it, right? All right, so let's make sure it's in line this way. Yeah. Right, let's make sure all of these will attach. I'm a little questioning on this one. Yeah. So let's demolish that guy. And go back to food. Now that they're sitting there, it's like, oh, come on. Okay. Demolish this guy as well. So he's bumping into this other guy. Right, so let's put this guy in. And then, yeah, that'll work. Bet you money that'll work. Yep. Yep. There we go. Then the road can come off this way. One little mistake. Two little mistakes. All right, so now let's see. Can we not do this one? Can we get a dirt road in between there? It seems for some reason a little tighter than some of the other ones. Building in the way. All right, let's... yeah, see, it's... But it doesn't mean we necessarily need to go through that one, does it? Let's not use the bulldozer tool just for... We are close. I bet you I can get through here. It doesn't matter which one we don't build, right? Because we need to... Well, we also said we probably need a more permanent road, don't we? Yeah. You know what? Let's plan on crossing these railroad tracks as best we can. Like, in other words, if I bring this guy out straight, well, you know, yeah, these guys will need to cross, but we don't have to do that right away, right? And then, yeah, you know what? I have plan B working in my head as we speak. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Right? Because we can come out this way. Now, I'm going to run out of time is one of my problems right now, but maybe we could finish designing this in another episode. But if we were to do this, you won't let me do that, but if we were to do this, and then, well, this will be like a regular paved road, just in case we ever want to bring trucks up in here. Let's see, what did I do before? I came from about here and went out. Yeah, and I think rather than... Nah, what we did was this. And then that guy attaches nicely, and then we can really bring the dirt road off of here, right? Yeah, let's just bring it... Okay. What other infrastructure is in the way? I don't understand what's in the way there, but there, how's that look? Now, yeah, and I think because I'm running out of time, rather than rush it, I like everything that we have so far. Let's go ahead and put, not there. Let's go ahead and put some factory connections back together. because we're not going to do that anymore. And then what we'll have to work out, so this is kind of worked out where we can get into here. And then the problem is I'm not getting into this one. Yeah, there's another factory connection can go there. Yeah, so we have everything to have 3 sets of these. And then maybe in the next episode, sort of depends on exactly what we plan, but you know, there's a lot of work to just get things built in here. It's not like this is going to be done anytime soon. We'd have to work out how these trains will, I'm picturing, come up to here and then do whatever they need to do. So we'll have one way or the other. I imagine this would be good, but we'll take this. Yeah, I may need to work on that. So this will become our incoming, and then we'll have an outgoing, which we'll need to connect up to this somehow. Now, can I get that guy? Building in the way. What? See, so those will be the outgoings. You know what? I can't do the road like that because I need to put the railroad tracks. That's all right. We'll see. We'll leave those roads there just for, but yeah, I need to get, I'll leave that there for a reminder. I need to get like a crisscross exit thing, you know, so this train can swoop in and this train can come back out. So we'll need to put another one of those right there. And then these guys can come out here. And then this will be the outgoing. And then what I'm probably picturing is, depending on exactly how we do it, like making this an overpass at some point. So like this one could go back out straight here, right? We can always delete this stuff. You know, in a sense, this guy could come out here and hook up there, right? But then he could also swing around this way and go back, you know, the other way. I don't want to actually attach him and mess things up. And then this guy could come in here, and this is the, you know, this is the food train. So these guys, I think I picture, you know, I don't picture a loop for them necessarily. Like they'll come in, they'll sit here, they'll turn around, they'll come right back out. So we might want to make this a 2-lane track at some point, right? Where they can, you know, get in and out of each of these without messing each other up too much. You know, there'll only ever be one train on the spur. So anyway, we'll see what happens. And again, I'm pretty much out of time for the episode. Let's turn off the wireframe so we can take a final look at it. And as we do often at the end, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to commit to, I shouldn't have bummed my little thing here until so I'm just going to commit to all of the tracks there. Let's go over to the roads and we'll commit to those roads, and then we'll come back to and then that way if we do some designing in other places, we don't delete what we already did, though obviously we have a lot more details to work out here. So let me know what you guys think. I know 6 is a bit of overkill. I mean, right now we have 2, and I expect our population to increase greatly. So this would give us probably all the food we ever needed. I don't know how we're going to get enough corn in here right now, but we'll see. Some of it's gain balancing that I don't fully know how well it will be balanced, but who knows? We might be planting some more fields over here or something. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves and have a good day. Bye-bye.